welcome back. And I have another hack for you. This revolves around transitioning in a sale. This is one of the best ones because it really starts to illuminate some of the self-limiting beliefs that are actually underneath this stuff, which is the most obvious thing. So I've got another video for you I want you to watch. I did it a little while ago, and when we're done with that, I'll come back and talk to you just for a second. But I'd like to kind of go work with the perception of transitioning into a close while you're selling something. Now, I think it's an illusion. I don't think there really is any transition, because if you have to transition, that means you're positioned somewhere that you have to now transition into a different position. Now, what if you were just always prepared to close, no matter what? You might not always close, but at least you're always prepared. If you're always prepared for it, then there's not that moment of, okay, now it's time to close. Like now, it's like, I think what's underneath that, when I say underneath that, because that's the obvious stuff that's on top, I think underneath that, what people are really working and struggling with is the asking for permission to sell somebody. I see it all the time where I work. I remember when I used to do it, and I just act as if I already have the permission. Otherwise, I wouldn't even be talking to the person based on results and based on, the universe and what it's trying to do and its best to present for me to actually support everything I'm up to. There wouldn't even be somebody in front of me if I didn't already have their permission. So I think a lot of that has to do with leadership. In trainings like Gratitude and Spectrum and all types of other transformational trainings, we talk about having leaders get that they're leaders, and at first people are always looking for permission. This is not any different. If you're not looking for the permission to actually close somebody and you already have it, you're going to approach it completely different. You're going to feel differently about it. And there really is no transition into closing. There is something in the typical sales paradigm called ABC, always be closing. Yes, and I would kind of expand on it a little bit and say, always be prepared to close at any moment, at any time, whenever somebody shows up. Now, that doesn't mean that you're going to push anybody into a sale, because that's not how it works. But you're always ready. And if you're always ready, then the universe is always going to be ready. So it's not complicated, but I think that's what's going on at the heart of it, is that people are looking for the permission to then close and sell people. They do this really great, you might want to call it enrollment process, because that's really what it is. And the enrollment process can be done an unlimited, infinite number of different ways. The point is this: you can do it in a way that has you need to transition into a close and need the permission to do that, or you can already be in that. You're beyond the transition. Before you even start the conversation with people, you're beyond that. You're already over that, beyond it. It's behind you. And really, you're just, is the person ready to close or not? And you're just facilitating that process. So I think that's a really great way to see it, because again, one of the biggest questions is, Matthew put a post out not too long ago, and he talked about this, where people are presenting their product, presenting this, presenting that, and then there's this transition into a close. No, it doesn't really. That's like one of the most ineffective ways I've seen, because then it turns into a pushy sales thing. Like you have to do something differently. I think if you're just ready to close all the time, it just happens organically and naturally. And the person that you're closing or selling or enrolling, they may or may not be ready to close, but at least you are.